Off to a running start.
November 8th.
Okay, 26 Garden Street. Come on down. Okay. For
The public.
the public,
I guess Thomas is your public.
we are opening the public hearing for the application on 26 Garden Street. And I guess we should note that we received the return receipt information. So, can you give a quick presentation?
Sure.
Yeah.
To the camera?
Yeah.
Sure. Here we are. I'm Karen Parks. I'm here representing Tara O'Sullivan and her husband John, who are the property owners for 26 Garden Street. These are images of the existing house. Our proposal before your board is for approval for a change in the roof line, the addition of a front porch, the enclosure of an existing side porch, as well as the addition of a covered landing and new steps to grade on the side of the house. The existing structure now is a ranch-style structure with the gable end of the house facing Garden Street. In order to grab some more habitable space, we're proposing to remove the existing roof structure in its entirety and frame a new roof with a steeper pitch that would allow us to accommodate a half-story of habitable space as a second floor. In doing so, we'll also be adding a shed dormer on the northerly side, which would accommodate bathroom space and allow us to have the head height to do so. And then on the front of the house, facing Garden Street, we're proposing a new covered porch. And on the north side of the house, there is an existing covered porch, which we would like to enclose, and also add a new covered entry accessing it with a new wood frame stair to grade. We have appeared before the zoning board and have been granted a variance for our front and side yard setbacks. That's all set. We have a copy of the resolution if you need that. That was approved on October 5th. And that, in a nutshell, is our application.
Okay. Normally at this point, we take a break and allow the public to come up and take a closer look at the drawings. But
And
since
the
we
chair
have,
to smoke a cigarette.
that's right, a cigarette. But since that we don't have any public, I'll go ahead and move.
I have two letters. These are letters that were written to the zoning board in support, and they both said that we could use them for the purposes of this meeting if you want them,
Yes.
Of course.
just to have some public input.
Okay. I'll let you guys read it.
The O'Sullivans have discussed their building plans with Bob and me, and they are very supportive. We have no questions or concerns. Sincerely, Susan Early. And this one is, we already expressed our support of proposed renovations to 26 Garden Street. We're showing the architectural renderings of the proposed renovations, and we're delighted to see the finished product will be consistent with the type of houses and architectural features on the street. When going through old photographs of our house at 24 Garden Street, we found that several showed a two-story house on the property that now belongs to O'Sullivans. These photos were from the early 1900s, and the house was reportedly demolished to build the current house. The proposed renovations are actually more consistent with the original house on the property. As neighbors of the O'Sullivans, our view of the mountains to the north may be affected most by the change in height. However, by only extending 5 feet above the existing peak, it still provides us with a view of the mountains from the northern side of the house. Lastly, in the few short years that the O'Sullivans have lived next door to us, they've become more than just neighbors, they've truly become friends. We hope that these renovations are approved to support the size of the family so that we remain our neighbors for a long time to come. Sincerely, Jeff and Kristen Amato. So we have 2 letters in support.
Okay, are
The letter
these,
from Susan, I think, counts double, so let the record show.
are these the current drawings?
Yes, the ones dated September 27th, 2017.
Yes. So everybody can take a look at those, peruse those. Anybody want to see the existing condition photographs?
No, we know what it is. So it says leaders not shown on the gutters, but I presume that they're going to be in the same location as the existing leaders.
Correct, yes, and actually we'd like to reuse the existing gutters as feasible, provided they come off in good condition as we address the roof.
And the aluminum siding stays on the sides.
Correct.
And support has to be extended, et cetera.
Okay, now let me, first, these are void? Because these are the doors now.
Correct, yeah.
So these are void, let me put them away. Because just, well, I'll keep them for the record, but otherwise. Now, how about,
I mean, we changed it at that meeting to this one, but that's just, you know, a more up to date copy of that,
okay,
just for clarity.
the door.
This is the door on the side,
Correct, that is on the,
on the
the
side
little
porch.
side porch, yeah.
Are they still in there, Gordon?
Any questions?
Nope.
Um,
I think
These are the windows.
Basically, all this out of the workshop. I
Yeah,
think.
Anybody want to see the windows?
I think we've
Have
seen
they
them.
changed?
They have not changed. Nothing's changed since our last.
Blue, the triangle. This is the profile of the ASIC building products.
Cool.
Okay. Do I have any questions from the board?
No.
I do not, but Kathleen just made a note that Jeff said there are materials from Karen Clark's in the box, he's not sure what they are for. They might be for 126 Main. Did you drop anything off new to Jeff last week?
Nothing pertaining to 26 Garden
Okay,
Street.
cool.
Um,
Then
I
we
may
should have
have
everything.
dropped off something for 21. I've lost track of everything I've dropped off for 126 Main Street, but
Is the board ready to take a vote?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, Sean,
I move to accept the application as submitted.
I have a second.
Second.
Sean, your vote?
Aye.
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 thank you
Done,
very
done,
much.
done.
Thank you
You're
very
welcome.
much. Yes. Okay, now, are you all going home early tonight, or is everybody just
Well, I
late
think,
in arriving?
unfortunately, because we've started putting times on our agendas, some
People are
people
showing
show up when requested and not much before.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Good luck. When's it gonna
With
start?
that, I will now close the public, well, I already closed the public hearing.
Yeah.
We get construction
Um,
drawings.
Yeah.
See if you have a hardware turn.
I know, it's looking like it's gonna be a good winter for construction, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
I love snow.
I don't think it's gonna snow.
Is it, are we supposed to have a mild winter? or-
That's what I've read,
Oh.
so.
We'll
Okay.
see.
Never mind
It'll be
that.
Okay,
disappointed.
and 7 Fair Street.
Thank you. Good night.
Okay,
Night.
night. 7 Fair Street is off the agenda.
Yeah, he said we can do this.
Okay, 15 High Street.
So
Okay,
fif-
we can do
High
that.
Street we can vote on in absentia
Yes.
because it's just approving the profile of the,
Right, there was an exchange of emails
Mhm.
dealing with the fact that, was the only objection that we had before was the fact how they were routing the cables.
right.
And so now what they're proposing is to take the cables inside.
Do we have any actual material to that effect, or do we just have the email from Kathleen?
I do have the email, but we can approve it on condition that the wiring is routed to the inside as per the attached email.
Okay.
I mean, and then if they balk at that.
Yes, nothing from Jeff about that View Street application.
I remember that there was a mention that there was no referral for it.
A mention from Jeff?
No, from Kathleen.
Oh. Maybe she said she's seen it. I guess we can't vote on minutes without. Oh, and I guess somebody should be taking minutes, which.
I took notes.
I don't have it, at least not on my cell phone.
Can we just
Let's-
modify the drawing to just say?
Yeah, I mean,
They should give us plenty of information, so.
yeah, and what I can do is see if I can find, or actually, I'm afraid that maybe what I may have done is deleted it, but, the issue is instead of running they had originally proposed going over the roof and coming down.
Right,
And so now,
And you suggested going around back and
Right.
under the eaves.
but now I guess we're just gonna pop right through the.
go right into inside, and they're gonna run all the wiring inside, so.
Yeah.
That is the application, which will be as modified, and,
And there was bubble around the wiring.
yeah.
Okay.
So, do I
Can you see
have,
around this thing? Did we see it in a voting session, or did we see it in the workshop?
We saw it during the last meeting. During the last real meeting. Yes, we did.
Okay.
oh, the secret status?
Yeah, we did it.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Okay, so here's the application that we saw before, and I don't see where they have specifically talked about.
Is it in a verbal description on the application?
Yeah, well, I sort of remember that, they drew it somewhere. Or maybe it was what we asked of them, on how they were going to do it. Anyway,
It's typically what happens.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think she was just drawing it over of one of the photographs, but I don't know if they had anything prepared showing the drawing.
So at least, and,
I feel like we never see the same school company twice, so there's no institutional knowledge of what they need to bring.
well, here are the sketches, but this was our sketches suggesting alternatives.
Right. So can we just take one of those one of those ground plans of the roof and just note on it, all wiring will be concealed inside attic? I mean, if there's nothing to cross out on the drawing because it was never drawn in the first place, we should just do it.
How about if I put a note on it?
Yeah, that's fine.
A very large note so that the building inspector has no question about it.
Okay. Note. Wiring from the solar array to be run directly to the interior or through the roof into the attic.
Sure.
And how they do, what they do
After that,
after
it
that,
doesn't matter
we really
because-
don't care.
Because I think she also said that the inverter is going to remain inside. as
Inside,
well.
but that, that's neither here nor.
Right, but so it won't
Oh,
be, so
okay.
it won't be posted on the exterior of the building.
All right, note. Wiring.
All wiring as well as the inverter inside, so only the panels will be visible. I really hope that these people don't show up on
.32 Market, that's the building right at,
the cat house. That's-
yeah, the so-called cat house.
Oh, Andrea's away. I just remembered Andrea's away. She's getting back tomorrow morning.
Well, whoever shows up first gets the next shot.
Okay, so we have a note which says wiring from the solar panel array to go directly through the roof into the attic. And then where they have the PV inverter, it says to be located inside the building.
Perfect.
All right, do I have a motion concerning the application is modified?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. 95 Main Street. Isn't this our friend, the entomber?
Yes. Let's see. Notice, tell.
Okay. So,
So
I
this is the
think
asbestos siding?
Mm-hmm.
they were supposed to come back, so we'll leave it over here. If they show up at some point, then fine, but otherwise, if they don't show up, then what we'll do is just say that, the application still needs some information. We're supposed to go back and
Kathleen wrote to Sherry yesterday, asking whether or not she still wants to be on the agenda. I do not personally see a response for her, but she did put her on the agenda for today, so
What about her note from tonight?
did not say
Didn't say?
anything about,
Cause it took off 7 Fair Street. Didn't say anything about 95 Main.
that's an see, let me look again. Nope, just 32 and 24.
What about 32?
32 Market and 24 Chestnut have referrals in the denials awaiting applications folder.
Hmm.
Do we have that folder for denials awaiting applications?
For who?
32 Market and 24 Chestnut?
32 Market.
Yeah, in the,
Denial for waiting application folder.
they're gonna be coming
Okay.
with, they have their application and their check, they're gonna be bringing it to the meeting because they otherwise would have had to come up from New York. for the
All right,
so
because
so
there
we
was,
can accept
there's
it.
no application form.
Right, so that'll be in their hotline.
Alright, so
And
what's the other one?
24 Chestnut?
24 Chestnut.
Replacement of the porch on the primary facade.
And we told them to come at 10 PM, so.
I don't see anything. We've got 20 The Boulevard, 95 Main, 35 Market, 126, 126, Butterfield, 32 Market, 7 Marion Avenue, 7 Paulding.
Wait, we have a 32 Market and a 35 Market?
Yeah.
35 Market is the cottage.
Right.
32 Market
Is
is the
across
house.
the street.
Okay.
So it
7
should be in
Paulding,
denials awaiting applications, you said.
Yeah.
64 Main Street, 30 Fair Street, 16 Paulding, Jonathan Netterfield. This is-
30 Fair Street is meant to be coming for a workshop, so you can pull it out.
There's a 30 Parrot?
That's it, those are all we have, oh, 7 Fair Street,
Yeah, 7 Fair, that's, Catch, that got canceled.
okay.
You said there's a 30 Parrot in there?
Oh. "32 Market Street."
Oh, perfect. For Magic Grass, great.
Um, Alright. So,
Not
Thir-
just-
32 Market Street is actually the next one that we should be
Right.
doing. we have some, just have a quick review.
That's what I'm looking at.
Thank you.
Knock down some trees.
I like when they put existing and proposed on the same page.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay.
I'm gonna go grab a window sample. I don't know if you guys are waiting.
We're ready for you, so
Okay,
but
be right back.
take your time.
You know, this back porch is visible from a public way because it's visible from the train station.
Mm-hmm.
And it's visible from my house, too. Consistent. Such an odd thing.
Put that down here for now.
Okay.
Kathleen's going to ring the applicants and tell them to come 20 minutes earlier than posted. Kathleen is going to tell all of the applicants to come 20 minutes earlier than posted.
Sorry guys, I didn't mean to keep you waiting.
No, we had just never are moving faster than normal.
Usually.
Well, I figured, oh, I'll come like, 15, 20 minutes early. But yeah, of course, it really works out that way.
Okay. So, last time we talked about this, two things, right? The siding
Mm-hmm.
and the windows.
Right.
Okay. And, trying to think, with the siding, we didn't like the entombing the
Yeah.
siding. Any change in that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if we're gonna leave the siding for now, we're gonna fix up all of the damaged pieces, all of the wood shakes that are there, repair and replace, paint, and then the windows.
Okay. Technically, a repair is replacing kind, but what you're talking about is getting the transite shingles and installing those where the wood shakes are.
Yeah, and there's some other damaged pieces throughout.
Okay. Technically, that's not really a repair in place because you'd be replacing wood shingles with wood shingles. But I think that this, it's the spirit. I would think that we'd much rather have transite shingles rather than the hodgepodge that we have right now.
Well, the wood shingles that are the replacement shingles, do they reasonably match the existing ones?
Not in my opinion.
No, they look totally different.
You're talking about the wood shingle? A little bit of history. Yeah, a little bit of history. Mr. Handelsman started changing the shingles without permission. We stopped them, and we said that,
Well, this is all the damaged stuff.
Right.
well, those are the wood shingles that was,
There's some on the back side too.
Those are more recent wood shingles?
no.
I mean, more
But-
recent than this stuff.
Yeah, I'm sorry, what's your name?
Chris,
Chris.
Darman.
Sorry.
What Chris is proposing is that taking the wood shingles off and putting transite, right?
Yes,
And the
Cement.
transite is this thing,
Yeah.
as a temporary.
because that's what was there before the
Originally.
wood shingles, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, when they started taking it off, and we stopped them. And
So,
so,
I mean, is this shingle type still available?
Yes. You can get it from Dane's, Home Depot. They have it.
so, as far,
Humongous sample that they gave us.
Mm-hmm.
I think I gave that to you guys originally, the other packet. But yeah, just a standard replacement. We do have some sort of picture of what's there. Basically, all we'd be doing as far as replacements go is removing these side pieces here, 1, 2, pop them out, take out the window, put that window in, and then put these exact same pieces of trim right back. So none of the trim. That was that weird thing I was telling you guys about.
you know,
So I measured that, just so you know, to that replacement window is gonna actually go back to its original
condition,
Yeah.
and this is gonna go away.
Right.
Now, these are only the front windows.
These are all the windows. Only the front ones are wood. Everything else is vinyl.
Okay, but this condition here with this extra piece, that's only in the front, right?
That's only on the front bottom. So it's only in one unit,
Oh,
and it's these guys here on this bottom. Just I think it's only these 3 actually. The rest they go straight down.
Probably, somebody ordered the wrong size window.
Yeah, they're pretty big windows. They're really large, 5 foot by.
So is what's going in is is each window just getting 2 new sashes, or it's getting
No. The whole, well, kind of. So
Yeah.
we're gonna be removing the 2 sashes
right,
of the old ones, but we're gonna be installing a full frame.
okay, a full frame.
Yeah.
But the frame fits, so the
Yeah, the-
frame is replacing this
So the
trim on the inside.
no, this trim is gonna get removed, and then the frame is gonna go up to these to the 2 sides,
Right.
and then this piece will go right back in to cover that gap.
But all on the inside.
Right.
So
Yeah.
from the exterior, the profile of the trim on the exterior of the windows is not changing at all. It
No.
stays the same.
Nope. Just the actual sashes of the windows,
Right,
which are the same.
which is all that's visible
Yeah.
after. what's
But all
in
the
there.
woodwork, we're not even gonna get into it. Not paint or replaced or anything. It's all in great shape.
Okay, I
Yeah.
guess the question becomes, so this is a replacement window which the new frame is going inside the existing frame.
Yeah.
Okay. And what is how much are you reducing the window opening?
So the window, virtually nothing, because, so the window ends here. So the window ends here. So I guess it's really not really getting reduced. So the original windows end here, and the new windows are gonna be there too. They're just gonna be covered up from the inside, I guess, 3/4 of an inch to 1.5 inches, right?
I know, but what, you're taking out the existing sash.
Yeah.
So the existing frame is gonna stay in place.
Right.
And you're putting in a new frame.
Okay, yeah, yep, so I guess in that case, yeah, it would be reduced by 1.5 inches, 3/4, somewhere around 1.5 to 2 inches.
Well, it's essentially, Al, going to be reduced by the thickness of this jam.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the frame of the
Overall,
but the
but
frame of the
that's-
sash is also a much narrower sash. The frame of the sash then is existing,
The,
isn't it?
the frame of the new sashes.
Yeah.
I think that I mean, these windows are not original. These are other, later replacement windows.
Yeah, I know, but are all of them, all 8 of them on the second and third floor, all replacements?
So
As far as we observed, from the street, yes.
everything is replaced there. There are a couple of original units
And
that
which
are
ones are the
barely
original?
hanging on. Let me try to find a good picture of the front.
I think the ones that we
That's
found
kind of-
were over on the left side facing the
Yeah,
building, and they were both
very, very top.
totally cracked.
Yeah, the very top. I think there's 3 windows there, and then it wraps around into these 2 windows as well. Those are the only originals left, and then there's actually the rest are all. Those are only the only wood replacements, and the rest are vinyl. You can see on the back some
Mhm.
vinyls.
Mhm.
All right. I mean, thoughts, how do people feel about that?
I think it's the same problem we had with the house on Main Street at the corner of Locust. With the profile of the sash, the thickness of the exposed amount of sash frame being much less in the modern window, because this is the interior side of it.
Yeah.
If you flip that around.
So this is the exterior side. and this is all clad in aluminum here.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, that size, I would say that's pretty similar. This might be a little smaller.
I guess, you know, once you put it here, let's just sort of talk about what we're actually gonna wind up seeing.
Up top here?
Yeah. I mean,
It's not gonna be
I
red.
guess the question is that the exterior casing, where will that be in relationship to the window? The frame, in other words,
This thing? That's what you're talking
well,
about?
that comes with the window, that's the aluminum, right?
Mhm.
So, what is,
So the
now, this exterior casing, what is that?
that's all wood. That's trim. So that overlaps the window.
The window,
Yeah.
right, so where will that be in respect to that?
Believe that there's a 3/4 inch overhang, if that, all the way around. So probably somewhere around here.
So it'll butt up next to that?
Yeah. I think that's what it's
So
designed.
this
for.
is going to project forward, this depth.
This will, yeah, probably about, not much. We have 1 inch, the trims I'm sure is 1 inch, not 3/4. So it will stick out probably about a 1/4 inch.
And then this is new
Right.
thickness which will be added.
But yeah, and then it will have that trim that will kind of look like a part of the window.
I think on the one hand, it's obviously going to be a difference than what is there right now.
Well, and actually, you know, the more I look at it, I'm not totally sure because these sashes, original sashes, seem to be somewhat thick.
Yeah, I think that
Mhm.
I think the majority of the wood replacement windows are made with such a narrower profile, which is less contextual than what this is. I mean, really, the big jump is the incorporation of this sort of extra activity here, not the thickness itself, but just the, you know, the way that it's designed to hold the screens and storms or whatever else, you know. So that is the newness that is being added. But as far as the amount of daylight is concerned, this seems more accurate than what's currently there to the age of the building.
Yeah, well, that, and also, because I think what we ultimately wound up approving on that house on Main Street is pretty much this, because it was a wood window.
I know it was an aluminum clad wood, yeah.
Yeah, and it had, you know, the vinyl track as opposed to.
Yeah, the difference is that what we talked about there, all of this vinyl tracking was all going to be concealed inside the wall. So the only real
Or
new thing that we were
covered
going to
trim.
see were going to be the two sashes themselves. But that's also, I think, a kind of a different situation.
It is, because you're set into, you know, horizontal siding. Whereas this, you've got a whole bunch of verticals and, you know, the pilasters and so on, and so there's a lot of activity, and I don't think it'll be that noticeable.
Also, the first course of windows is probably
I was just about to say.
12 or 14 feet off of the ground, and they're huge. So so even if we're losing, so
Yeah, you're saying proportionally. it's
proportionally
not
we're
that-
not losing
it's
such
not
a
that
significant amount, but I
visual.
think it's gonna.
Do I have a motion concerning the seeker status? Because we haven't done that yet.
I
No, I
think
think
it's.
we did. Didn't we? I guess we didn't.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
just
never-
in case.
Asking us for it. I would move that it's a type 2 because it's minor modifications.
Do I have a second?
Yeah, a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Got that out of the way.
Good.
All right, I really don't have that much of a problem with it. I mean,
I don't know why they would have given you a red sample, but
Yeah.
I'm overlooking that for now.
Yeah. I was surprised that we got a full-size sample.
I think that it's to have all of the windows on the building replaced and unified is a net gain for the property owner and for the district. So I'm willing to compromise on the profile of this tracking system. The truth is, no new window with storms or screens is going to have the profile of an original wood window which predates.
You mean to tell me I'm not gonna be able to convince Chris to put in,
Custom.
sash weights and pulleys and stuff like that?
We could, but
that's between
that's-
you and your maker. Well, we have no jurisdiction over interior, least of all inside walls. I think it's a good solution for a commercial building that gets a lot of use. I think it's a good solution.
Yeah, I can accept that.
All right, do I have a motion on the application to replace all the windows as submitted?
Is this reflective of what's submitted? Oh, then yes. I so move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so you got the windows.
Good deal.
But what I do need is I need some information. I mean, right now, I've got a whole bunch of orders for windows, but what I need is, and it can be done with photographs. I need a description, showing all the windows that are being replaced. In other words, a photograph of all the various sides. Then I need a catalog cut for that window. Because again, this will be part of it, but I need a catalog cut of from the company.
Manufacturer.
Yeah.
So, for the description, do you need me to take a picture of each window, or just
No,
a
just
picture
the
of the
facade.
sides? Got it.
Each.
All right,
Yeah, and specifying which windows go where.
Got it.
right, and three
Well, it's only
copies.
one window typology.
Hmm?
It's only one window.
No, I know, but they're going to be different sizes.
Oh.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, 3 copies of each. Dropping them off with the village clerk, and I'll pick it up over the weekend.
Okay.
Now, let me tell you about the advantages of sash lights.
Actually, I don't know any advantages of them, so I would be interested in learning that because I have no idea.
Okay.
They can be
I'll tell you
used to
the
defend
disadvantage of a
yourself.
sash light.
Yeah.
Is a
Yeah, they're
is
heavy.
a big uninsulated cavity surrounding
Yes,
all of your
exactly. You're
windows.
absolutely right about that. That's another big plus for handle damage. Throwing it in the insulated windows.
And yeah, especially in a building that size.
Yeah, we did another building in East Fishkill, I think with that window, and it made a huge difference for him as far as bills.
Great.
All right,
Alrighty,
thank you.
thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
We'll come back for the, actually, I might be able to grab it all. No, I'll come back for it. I'll move it out of the way.
Okay,
You don't
32.
normally require people to bring in entire windows, you really.
But we
32
certainly don't
orchids.
turn it down.
That's us.
Yep,
He's just in the bathroom.
we were moving fast.
That's good.
Good evening, everybody.
Hi, how y'all doing? My engineer architect is gonna be here shortly, but he had a
Funerals are at 10, unfortunately. Yeah, like,
Well, we can talk about it, because the thing is that we may want some of this back. You have you submitted, no, you've submitted the application, right? And,
Yeah, Kathleen said you were gonna bring the application and the check. That's right, you got it right here.
Oh, I thought you meant the building. I'm very tired.
That's like, did you guys just get off the train?
No, we drove,
Oh, okay.
but I broke 2 toes
Ooh.
and I'm 6 months pregnant. So
mm,
it's not the best time to break 2 toes.
The best time to break 2 toes. There really is a good time to get off that.
okay. Existing condition. Now, I guess we'll go through this, but just for future reference, these are hard for us to handle. We would be more than happy to do 11 by 17s.
Okay.
of these plans?
Of these plans.
Oh, okay.
We really don't need all of the wiring and, you know, a lot of the interior stuff, because we have no
Sure.
purview.
Right.
We can save a couple of years.
Right. I guess our thought was,
So when you guys come back
Very safe and
periodically
sorry,
over
yeah.
the lifetime of the house for all of the other changes.
Well, we could not work at any size anyway.
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
I thought about that too, but.
you're coming up from the city?
We're temporarily living there, yeah.
Okay, all right, so then, I guess, what is the application fee for that?
It was $30.
The application fee is $30 for public hearing.
We have now,
Because this way we can drop it off at the village, and then, it really has to go to the village clerk,
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
you know.
yep. Yeah, everything else
that's
that
what
I would have dropped off to
with
Jeff.
Kathleen.
Yeah.
Okay,
Everything else comes to you essentially, so sort of the way Jeff described it was cut out the middleman except for the check here.
But what's the other fee? The
That's if
public
you need
hearing
to have a
fee?
public
If you need to
hearing,
have
but
a
I
public
don't
hearing,
think
but I don't
that's.
think that we would go to a public hearing this project.
Oh, I see,
Well,
that's like if
yeah.
you're building a 2-family house or something. My parents had to do that.
Just anytime you're doing like like we actually had one earlier today for somebody who was adding a second floor to
Oh,
a
okay.
single story building, or if you're removing something or building a big addition, but while this is a very big project for you guys, I'm not,
Thank you.
please.
We're more than happy to have it small on your radar.
Yeah. The things that we oversee are.
Range and scope.
Is that Sal?
Is a dumbwaiter in this house?
There
Yes,
is.
existing.
Basement to attic, 4 floors. The man had taste.
No.
Actually, it's pretty cool,
And taste
dumbwaiter.
for cats.
Is it electric?
No.
No.
It's a hand pulley one, but it works great.
Application forms.
Yep, got them. How do I make the check out to? Village Cold Spring?
Village forms. Oh, actually, no, Al.
Yeah, right.
Chris,
Touch it out.
Let's see. Who do I make it out to?
The village of Cold Spring.
Oh, it is
It
Village.
was a joke, that's his
Um,
name. It's too late in the evening for jokes for you.
No, I'm good, I'm good.
I just
Writing on
meant
a
that you
journal.
get them.
We got lucky getting there. I got pulled over and the cop let me go in 3 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a good thing you got veterans plates.
Yeah. That was everything.
okay, in dealing with the part that we deal with, which is the exterior, can you, because one of the things of which, again, for future reference, it would be nice if what is new or different is clearly identified, you know.
Yeah, I thought that was gonna happen.
So, and I, yeah, it's right, after going through all the electrical plans and stuff.
Yeah, it's dark here, yeah. So all of the ones
So
are,
let's open to that. You have to give us a very brief description so we can do the secret status.
anything that's labeled with what it is would be new.
Okay. So we've got a new,
Yeah, right
casing
now,
window up
this is a
here,
semicircle right
Yeah.
now.
and this is all new.
Right,
This
we
is
took out the porch.
essentially this porch with these storm shutters. And
Okay, now, how about this side over here?
These two are shortened because the kitchen counter is gonna go there.
Mhm.
And this is really the same width, but they'll be higher than
Okay, and this is a new one.
Yes, it was an air conditioner then.
This is actually
In fact, we're gonna take this one down.
this window being placed
Yeah,
there.
this way, two sideways.
Yeah. And these two are the thin windows here, or for his cats.
Right.
So we're gonna make them full size.
Okay, so the big changes are, we're changing these two windows, changing this one, relocating this one to here.
Yeah. And this,
Yeah,
In the front.
and you're adding a deck on the back.
where there's a deck there, but we're connecting the two decks.
Yeah.
He's got a deck and a terrace.
The terrace is on the ground.
One,
No, they're the same height.
yeah, they're the same height, one is off
Yeah.
one side. Yeah. So this little terrace,
Okay.
and we're just
And
gonna
there's actually-
connect this.
You know, it was built with
Yeah.
the intent originally, you know.
Connecting.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
This deck is going to connect to this deck.
Oh, I see.
Which we think he meant to do, because it's set up with the.
which on the front this is shown. Here with the, now are you changing any of the doors?
No.
Yeah.
So just the deck
Mhm.
there.
And the windows on the stairwell.
Right.
Yeah, we got rid
Two
of the
more.
rocket ship looking.
Right, there's no longer this, and then just adding two more.
And are there going to be stairs? Oh, I see the
From the
stairs.
deck?
Yeah, they're gonna be
Yes.
on the side.
Yeah.
And those are existing stairs?
No,
No.
right now you can't get to the backyard from the deck.
Okay.
I don't know why, but.
And is the whole deck new construction?
It will be.
It will be, yeah.
It will be, okay. So you're in design connecting the two, but it's all going to be rebuilt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it needs to be.
He's got the existing two decks cantilevered into the home, and it's causing water to go into the house.
Yes.
I say he.
We.
but-
Yeah.
No,
Now
it's
you.
us.
I can't keep blaming you.
So they're gonna redo,
And what is the deck going to be made out of?
Before we get to that, let's do the secret and get that out of the way.
Oh, okay.
Do I have a motion concerning the secret status?
Sure.
I move that it's type 2, it's modifications of an existing single-family residence.
I have a second.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Done. All right, now, continue with the questions.
What's the deck going to be made out of?
Either stained wood or possibly Trex decking.
depending on the budget.
And it's currently vinyl sided.
Yes.
The garage doors stay and these barn doors or whatever they are.
That's a shed, I think.
Yeah.
Storage
Yeah.
shed.
storage.
Yeah, they'll stay. Or they might be
They might be fixed,
replaced.
the
or-
bottom's kind of
yeah,
rotted.
Bottom's rotting off their storage door, but.
It says existing deck balcony framing includes continuous 2x10 pressure treated lumber cantilever for the first floor. Reframing is required, but it doesn't, existing column shall be removed. There's no description of the existing, of what is proposed, unless it's one of those details.
Yeah, it is. It's on the.
Yeah.
So this house is in the local district, and pressure treated wood is allowed for the deck floor
decking.
only. So, we don't allow pressure treated posts.
What do they have to be?
That is a question for the
Real.
chair.
Real wood. I guess,
But it says that that the pressure treated wood must be stained and cannot be left exposed. That's if it's being used as a deck floor. Is that right up?
I'm a little curious as far as this railing. How is that constructed? In other words, it looks pretty flat. Is that like a 1x4?
Well, here's Sal, that's helpful, just I don't know the answer to this question.
Sal made it just in time.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We got a question we're stumped with. What's the railing on the deck?
What type of material?
Yeah.
Pressure treated lumber, I believe that's what you have currently,
Right.
unless there's something else that you'd prefer.
Well, we would like, cedars and, we'll have to discuss that amongst ourselves. But I guess, what is this top rail?
The top rail will be pressure treated as well.
I know, but what are the dimensions of it?
Be a 5/4 by 6. Just sort of a standard wider cover plate on top of, if you go with a 2x2 baluster and then add a 3/4 inch on each piece, on each side, you end up, having something that's about 4 inches across, same as you would a 4x4, and the cap would go right on top of that to cover it uniformly.
All right,
Yeah.
so you'd have a cap on top of what you're showing here.
Correct. And that's, I believe that's what's there. There's a little cap strip that would be on top.
Do you want a chair?
That's okay, I can stand. It's good.
No one's sitting in that chair. You can leave that chair.
Good. And I apologize, I'm a little bit later than
No problem.
Right on
Great.
time.
We're early.
very good. Well, that's a good thing, right?
Mhm.
All right, so I guess how do we feel about the whole business about pressure treating? I mean, it's non-contributing to the district, but I guess the question is that, and as I told you, this was all built without coming before our board, so,
The original,
huh?
the original?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
The whole home, I think.
Well,
Really?
there's also a front porch that's being replaced, correct?
No.
No,
Just
it's
the
act-
stairs.
Yeah, just they changed the stairs, and actually whatever railing system we put on the back deck, we probably should be looking to do at the front as well.
Mhm.
So, currently it's pressure treated, balusters that are turned.
Is
Um,
it paintable?
Pressure treated, you can paint it. It takes about a year for it to sort of cure before you can technically paint it and have it stick. But it can be painted, sure.
Well, there are.
I mean, there's
They-
tons
they-
of alternatives.
Yes, there are types of pressure treating which is used now that is paintable. I mean, it used to be when, the old pressure treating, I guess, I forget.
The CCA.
you know, that was awfully hard because, you know, you had to wait, like you said, till it dried out and else till you so ready to paint it.
Yeah, the OQC, it sort of depends on which supplier you actually have. For your regular dimensional lumber, like the 4x4s and things like that, you still do have to let it age that year, about a year's time, before it finishes really well. It's not saying you can't attempt to do it before that. Opaque stains tend to get into it pretty well.
To Al's point, it is non-contributing, but it is also a really highly visible building.
And it's visible virtually in the round because the
Railroad.
Yeah.
behind it,
Yeah,
the one pairs from Market.
I think that it would be, I'd be more fine with allowing the structure to be built out of pressure treated wood as long as it was painted or stained.
You know, the other thing that people often do is they, you know, they build the structure out of pressure-treated wood and then clad it with, you know, regular wood that is more, you know, the portions that you actually see.
Like the railroad stuff?
Well, the railing, for example, the posts, the big posts, and people have put in metal pipe posts and clad it in wood.
Well, there's quite a few varieties out there, so would the board prefer to see, you know, cedar, or would you prefer to see one of the artificial, you know, sort of composites?
We prefer to see wood.
Okay, so if, you know, so you have the choice of cedar, IPA if you wanna go IPA, that's fairly expensive, mahogany is again fairly expensive. The problem that I always find with cedar, especially with posts, is that it tends to decay fairly quickly. The western red cedar just doesn't really stand up to the weather that we have here. So I would always say, from the structural and the safety standpoint, I would much rather see pressure-treated lumber for the posts. If you elect to cap that, that would be an option, but then the posts start looking a bit massive. So,
I think that it could be achieved with, if it was a painted or opaque stained pressure treated structure and incorporating cedar or, you know, natural wood for the decking or for some of the railing elements, that's probably a better compromise, because using the cedar for the structure itself, I think is gonna lead to a greater degree of maintenance than is really necessary.
Carolyn?
So you're saying a combination of some pressure treated and some natural wood,
Yeah, I think if there was if there
painted
was,
or not?
yeah, natural wood, I mean, let me put it this way, I'd rather see cedar decking than Trex or some sort of composite decking. And if the solution to that all working is that the structure is a painted pressure treated posts, then I'd be fine with that.
How about the railing? See, I would
Railing.
rather see the railing in cedar, and, you know, because the decking, if you use something like Trex, you don't really see it. And I guess the other thing that would, it would have to be a painted finish, you know, an opaque, painted finish, because I think that, when you start mixing a couple of different things, it's, you know, and you're using stain, it's never gonna look right.
Keep in mind too that the different woods will take stains differently.
Right.
So there will be still a differing appearance on the standard structure, like the posts and the girder and, the actual structural components and, whatever you went cedar. So if you're thinking of doing a combination of systems, I would be more inclined to say the balusters and the top rail, the deck, if you want to put the decking materials themselves being cedar, rather than trying to have too many of the major components match in terms of appearance. But again, whatever the board has had success with in the past. From my perspective, I agree completely that anything that's dimensional and meant to be a structural support cedar's not a good choice. It decays too quickly in this environment, even with stainless fasteners. You know, the carpenter ants tend to like it, and the carpenter bees really enjoy the heavier timbers too. So,
Okay.
I think the solution is paint.
Solutions what?
Paint.
Paint. All right, so let me throw out one solution. The posts and the structural framing members for the deck is pressure treated. And then the fascia, and the railing and the decking cedar.
The fascia, the railing, and the decking. And what are the balusters in the
Well,
railing?
the railing.
Oh, the whole thing,
assembly.
not just the top of.
so you'd prefer the 4x4 post to be then cedar as well?
Yeah. Well, do you know what is existing up front?
Everything is
Pressure
pressure treated.
Everything is pressure treated.
And there's actually some Douglas fir mixed in on the front deck, but, you know, that's
That's from
untreated.
from when the wheelchair ramp went in?
Correct.
Mm.
Yeah, so there's a hodgepodge on the front deck. But, you know, the bulk of the structure as well as the decking and railings are all pressure treated.
On the one hand, my inclination is that what we have in the back sort of match what happens up front. But on the other hand, you know, essentially then all we're doing is perpetuating something that
Yeah.
is not.
I think I'm
It's one of those difficult
I defer
houses
to the chair, but I would be fine if it was majority painted, pressure treated.
Oh, wait a minute. See what they have up front. It's a turn picket.
Well, there's a turn pickets back
They have
there.
a
I know,
turn door.
but they have it up front also.
Yeah, I know.
Right. Yeah, the balusters themselves are turned.
And you're into that?
Well, I guess, you know, to me that's kind of, doesn't really match the house.
No,
Right,
it
I
sort of
don't think it
detracts
does.
from it, actually.
But we're not talking about the front page, so.
Well, I mean, we're gonna fix the stairs.
Right, and as a
And
result, the
The
railings
railings.
get
To
reset.
replace the railing on the front porch.
So they would then
Match
match
with
again
the back.
what we're doing on the back.
Yeah, but
So,
then you got a hodgepodge, you've got the columns in the front that are turned, and in the back, you're gonna have a completely different thing, and it's gonna look sort of betwixt and between.
you know, the problem that you run into with the turned, you know, balusters is that it really detracts away from the appearance of the house. And the turned columns, while they're not something that would, you know, I would typically say would be a really great feature for this particular age of the house, it does make it, the entrance a little bit different, you know, in appearance, so, and kind of keeping with the general colonial appearance.
What is the,
Um,
what is the age of this house, by the way?
80s,
25 years old.
1980.
No, 92.
Is it?
It started in 90 and finished in 92.
Jeez.
Right. I've got a question because it appears that the posts in the back support the little roof.
Correct.
Now, are they gonna stay?
They're gonna have to go, they gotta be changed.
Okay.
So we're
change
just
to
going
what?
to regular square. That was again the initial approach. Again, to make it so that things start matching the appearance of your trim around the windows and everything else, which is very blocky. You know, and not with character. What we could do with the post, if you care to, they could easily be beveled in the field, do a corner bevel
Mhm.
on the four sides to dress it up some. But again, a turn post, I don't think really provides the level of interest you wanna see on the house.
Spring Victorian.
I think the simpler,
Gingerbread.
the better when
You're
it
talking
comes
about
to
these
the
things
back.
with the
Yeah,
whatever?
but
The turned is because they're spun and
yeah,
Right,
Well,
when,
they're
when,
kinda
when they,
ugly.
when they carve it, it's,
Yes,
like
they are.
they
that.
are spun.
they really don't
They're
match the
I haven't
house.
figured out what they were saying, turned.
And the same thing goes with the
I would be
What
very,
sort of style or era
I
is
would be
this?
surely open to removing them,
Well, that's what we
Yeah,
had
that's-
proposed on the backside anyway.
cause they're kind of ugly.
So, if you'd like a little bit of detail, it could use a 45-degree bevel on the four corners is more keeping with this type of house, in my opinion. That would add a little bit of level of detail, so when you're looking at it, the posts look a little bit narrower
Mm.
overall.
All right, well, let's first finish with the material. So are we in agreement that pressure-treated, paintable pressure-treated wood for the structural framing and posts? And I would assume that even the structural posts back here, we can have that chamfer on the
Yes.
corners.
Not a problem.
Great.
So what about the wood? The railing, the decking, and then the posts?
I mean, I'm really fine with that also being pressure treated as long as it's painted, but if you prefer that it can be wood, then I'm cool with that too.
How about you, Carla?
I could go with pressure treated everywhere as long as it's painted.
I think to Sal?
Yes.
Sal.
I mean,
To
if
Sal's
Sal's
point.
together.
To Sal's point, having the material be consistent throughout so that the paint finish is consistent throughout is to me more important than having a natural wood with the, to have natural wood elements along with the pressure treated elements. It sounds like the plan would be to have everything finished in the same color, the same treatment, so it should be the same material. If the goal was to have a contrasting railing or a contrasting deck that was in a stained wood tone, then it should be wood. But if it's all gonna be painted, then it can all be pressure treated. And I would prefer if it were.
All right, if we go with the pressure-treated wood in the back, are we going to ask that the front rail be replaced? The front porch?
I'm not asking that the front porch be replaced unless they would like to have the front
Well,
porch
the
be
railing,
replaced.
the railing
railing
is
should be
intended to be
replaced.
replaced.
Yeah.
It's a, yes.
The
Then
posts have the
anything
option
which
as
is
well.
planning to be replaced should be replaced to match the deck
All
back.
right, well,
The back should be setting the precedent for
So
anything
then the
else.
front posts, we're saying would change as well.
okay, so, yeah.
Post as well, not just the rails.
Correct.
Okay.
Right,
That's these things
That's my
that are-
understanding.
Yeah, the
Wooden
columns.
literally ugly.
Yeah. I gotta watch one.
Okay.
It's like the windows in the back, the rocket ship ones, he liked them. I was like, oh my god.
Well, we stick them in the basement somewhere,
Put 'em in my
inside.
shed.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Stick 'em in the
exactly.
dumpster.
All right, okay, so, we talked about the front and the back porch. I guess what you're proposing is what you're showing on that, which has this actually has the handrail on, the cap piece usually goes on top of the flat board.
I can put it directly on top if you want to carry continuous, not a problem.
Well, I guess, what we should get is a clearer picture of what a section of the handrail looks like. For example, the 4x4, which it appears is that you're taking the handrail over the posts. So
Correct.
there is the post does not pop up.
That's correct. So again, the intent is to cap everything, so your handrail is a continuous handrail top to bottom. And then when we do actually have posts, what's normally done is you bevel the corners to match up with the narrower posts, like for instance, on the front deck. And for the tie that you would have right here, you would actually have to bevel down to that. because it is just slightly larger.
Okay, well, actually, what I see is that you are proposing replacing the post and the handrail in the front.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Anybody have any questions or suggestions?
I think it's gonna be a great improvement.
And we'll put the bevels on the posts. What I'll do is we'll make sure that the detail is set up there from the handrails up and about
6 inches or?
yeah, 8 inches off the top, you have the bevel return. Would you like to see them in between here? I'm
Well,
not
yeah.
overly keen on that usually, but
You mean below the handrail
below
level?
the handrail, I usually
No,
like to
generally you
go
don't
for
see that,
handrail.
generally you see that
Correct.
staying square, but above there you see it
Mhm.
chamfered.
Right.
Okay.
Where were
See,
we?
that's what you'd end up having, is something that would be like this, but your balusters would be down here, so it'd be a chamfer here, this would be set at your 8 inch mark. This would be your 36 height, and this would be 2 inches higher. So that you'd actually have a nice return, and this would be a 3/4 inch bevel. It'd be this way. What does, it makes this post look narrow and a little bit more
Right. That's
refined.
bulky.
And it makes the actually look taller and longer, kind of like most of the other features.
I believe that's everything unless you have further questions about the windows.
Hmm?
I said unless you have further questions about the windows. Isn't just the windows and the deck?
Yeah, windows and the porches.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
And then, yeah, staircase, but,
well, it's,
Now, just
well,
one
it's just the
thing,
windows on that, right?
yeah, exactly.
just the one thing which I just do wanna confirm is that you do have enough siding to patch where you're making the changes. Okay.
The interior, I think
That's
that's
the vinyl
Of the
siding.
patio,
We actually
Yeah.
have,
we have all of that saved.
so,
Right.
yeah, on the upper level, that original sort of semi-open porch.
This
in
was
front.
all
Side-
sided
Right.
under a roof.
The Juliet wall.
Yeah, exactly. So that's,
He's calling his cats.
Yeah.
and then all the, since we're working on the back end, whatever's used for the actual gable section, that'll be taken, salvaged, and reused again for the upper gable.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
No.
Now, what I would ask that you do, is because there's a lot of stuff here, and it just is going to make it easier for us to process 11 by 17.
Not a problem. How many copies would you like?
Well, we're gonna need 3 copies, because we keep 1 copy, we send 1 copy back to the applicant,
Okay,
and 1 goes to the building inspector.
okay, not a problem.
And we only
And-
need the elevations.
Well, let's go through the set. All right, sheet number 1, since it has all the general. We don't need sheet number 2. We don't need sheet number 3. You guys want?
No, I'm agreeing with you.
You trust
Yeah.
you trust my judgment. Sheet number 3 we don't need. Sheet number 4 we don't need. Sheet number 5 we don't need.
There's a lot of structural adjustments to the house, that's,
Which we have no purview. Sheet number 6 we don't need. Okay, so sheet number 7 is the existing. Right?
front and right side.
So we need that, and sheet number 8, which is also the existing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and then obviously sheet number 9, which has the new construction, and sheet number 10.
Mm-hmm.
So just those. Now, the only other thing is that we would like some call-outs on it. So, for example, existing vinyl siding to remain, existing roof to remain. We would like it very clearly identified what's new and what is existing. For example, these are all existing, but this is all new. This is new. So.
You know, I normally call out the base windows, that's the ones that have the numbers on them.
I understand, you know, is there any reason why, for example, I'm assuming this is all CAD,
It's all
right?
AutoCAD, correct.
Okay, so let's say these, can be, you know, a halftone or something like that, just reduce it, and
Okay,
the things in bold then are all the new windows?
yeah, okay. The only thing is with 11 by 17s, the halftones normally don't show up as well, just when they come out, just so that you're aware.
Okay,
But
Just so
again,
that the building inspector can quickly
he
identify
understands
what's.
exactly
Right.
what's being,
what's
Yep.
changing.
and it would be nice if we had a detail, of the post and, you know, the railing construction, so that is
Yep.
clear.
okay, that's not a problem.
All right, so if you can submit that, and, you know, drop it off at the village office, I can process it over the weekend. All right,
It might take.
I'm wait, I'm prejudging that. Do I have a motion to approve the application as discussed? I guess it would be as proposed because the applicant's in agreement.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yay.
Done.
Great.
All right,
Okay,
so,
very good.
What else do you
Uh,
need?
as
Any
soon-
stacks of,
I need these. We have these, I have the application
Do you
for
need to
Some-
check?
I'll check.
I have 6-1 for some reason, you probably only have 5 copies, so if you want all 6, there's
Yeah.
the 6.
Actually,
You really only need
let me do
three
this,
after
let me
this.
take one and the check.
You wanna flip?
uh,
I got 3
because-
more photos.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, one more. Okay, and I have this for the records, and we have copies for the application. And also the window.
And that thing here. Fixed.
And they were stuck inside.
Yeah,
Oh,
so if you need some additional, I'll probably have 1 or 2 more sets.
And, here,
As do I.
Yeah, I got them here.
Oh, of the windows.
Showing us all. So,
You didn't-
okay,
Okay,
done.
thank you
Very
so
good.
much.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Much appreciated.
Excellent. Well, thank you. Thank you, folks. And
Yeah, thank
I
you.
appreciate the input and everything. That's great.
Have a good night.
You too.
Everyone's safe.
Thank you.
This is what I have to
Have a good evening.
write. Okay, you too.
Thank you.
What's that?
Pulling trees again. Pulling trees
Pretty
again.
good. Kind of a tough week. Well, no, just full of work, you know, keep taking more jobs.
Okay,
Comments we do this week, and then-
all right. Do I have a motion to go into workshop session?
Yeah.
Who's second?
Is 30 Fair Street, this workshop not, we're not voting on 30?
No.
We're just workshopping, okay, cool.
Yes.
Then, yeah.
Okay. Do we,
I move to go into
workshop session? Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Should have put the card. So, please come down. We understand you have